All right, on to some recent struggles in my life, in our life. I thought I could offer some perspective on this whole CEO thing. See, I'm caregiver for my ex-wife, who is also a stage 4 cancer patient at the very end of her given time. She's been sick for well over 10 years. Watched her go from doctor to doctor, begging for help, asking, do every test they can, and she's turned away and she's faking. Just trying to get drugs. I watched her struggle with this the whole time. She's faking seizures. She's faking weight loss. She's faking comas. I've seen her go through so many things that she can't be faking. Then in this last August of 2024, they did a scan to see why she had recently lost her voice. They find a mass. They test it. Lo and behold, it's cancer. It's terminal and it's everywhere in her body. And if they had just done some tests instead of gaslighting her, they would have found it years ago. She's been sick so long, and we've had to survive on one income, public assistance, and the grace of our family and few bit of family we have and friends. And that means public assistance and Medicaid. And I'm not sure most people understand this, but a lot of Medicaid is farmed out to private insurance. United Healthcare is the one they hire the most. Medicaid is affected by these huge insurance companies just as much as the private insurance people. It's now New Year's of 2024, and we've been waiting 4 months for her disability. I've been home with her full time now because she can't be left alone. Someone needs to be with her at all times. So I can't work, which means we have no income at all. And that means through nothing we've done, through no mistake or action, she's going to die soon. In poverty, possibly homeless for all I know. I don't know how we're going to make this next couple months. She was denied care and assistance to save government and insurance companies that are contracted by the government money. Those approvals, those tests would have saved her life, would have given her years more to live. But to save money, they let her suffer. They're letting her die. Is that violence? She suffers and dies before 50 as a direct result of a system that they set up, that they perpetuate. Somehow that's not violence? Because it was legal? Because they followed the rules that they set up in the first place? I don't think it's a stretch for me to say they killed her. What's even worse is that since I'm in Colorado, she has access to medical aid in dying. She only has a little time left and she's in so much pain. And she's asked about it and is interested in using it. But it costs $3,000. No insurance will cover it. So she just wants to die. And is being denied that because we're poor. The system won't even allow her the respect of dying without milking her for just a little more revenue. When the working class steals, they call it violence. It's all over the news, even though it doesn't even account for 1% of the actual theft in the country every year. Over 3/4 of theft every year is wage theft by employers, by big companies. But that's done with a pen, so that doesn't count as violence, right? They steal billions every year from us in the working class. Billions, and no one bats an eye. But if the working class steals 1%, all the news talks about is rampant crime. Why don't we see 75% coverage of wage theft and 1% coverage of the regular retail theft and robberies, even though those are the actual numbers? Doesn't anyone else see the play here? It seems obvious to me. So how do I feel about that CEO being? Well, I won't directly call for violence, but I will ask, if they torture someone you love, and then they won't even allow them to die unless they pay more money, how would you feel? Would you call that violence? So, no, I don't condone violence. I'm not calling for violence. But do I feel sympathy? Not one bit. If you think that's wrong, let me ask you. If a vigilante shoots a child molester on their way to court, do you sympathize with the child molester?